your mind is the only thing that you can control, and then knowing that your mind is like for 95% your subconscious mind, or 5% like your conscious mind, it actually blows your mind that there's like one thing you actually can control, and then you're not putting the effort in to make that 5% more, so that you're more conscious. And that was also the realization for me when you sent a video, that I was like, yeah man, I actually need to step it up even more, because there's nothing more important than controlling your mind.
Control your mind, control your life. Boom! What is up, everybody? Welcome to a new episode of the Agency Podcast. Today with a very good friend of mine and also client of mine, Mr. Hugo van Baal. So welcome, Hugo. Maybe you want to say something a little bit about yourself so people get to know you a little bit and understand who you are, what you're doing. That would be fucking great.
Yeah, so my name is Hugo. Johannes and I, we go way back. We actually met in a mastermind for cold email. So as you probably can tell, I have an agency. We're doing cold email for clients of ours to help them get more leads. Essentially, I'm also doing, and Johannes, I think we're going a bit more into this later, but I'm also doing music, which is like more of a forefront for me currently. But yeah, man, that's kind of like the background.
Okay, and you say you're also running an agency. Like, what's your niche? Who you're serving?
It honestly differs. I would say that right now it's mostly agencies. So like the people that I'm trying to attract right now within the agency is agencies. So marketing agencies, creative agencies. That said, like a lot of these clients that I have currently are also referrals from agencies, so they are a bit different, but I would say agencies, man.
Awesome, man. All right, so let me go first of all into this. I mean, the agency space has exploded in the last few years. I know, because I'm in there now like since 5 years, and it's crazy what's going on in the last 5 years. And everyone is an expert now. So how are you differentiating yourself in such a crowded market?
Yeah, that's a good question, bro. It's a good question. I would say, well, it has to do with the mechanism, right? So how we are getting clients' results. So I would say that there's definitely different ways that people can position themselves. You have like these premium agencies. You have like more agencies that are doing like a lot of with AI. I guess like the thing that we're trying to do is that, so we call it like demand activation. So what we kind of do is we look at like threads on Reddit. We look at what people are discussing. This can be in company job openings. This can be, again, like I said, Reddit. This is sales transcripts from clients, and we find these little like the specific pains that people experience, and then what we do is we kind of assume the rule of one, right? So if one person is experiencing that pain, now what we do is we create a list of companies or people that are very identical to that specific person who experienced that pain, and then we essentially just approach the market with that like pain thesis, if that makes sense. And I would say that it's maybe some other people are doing this as well, but this is at least what drives very good results for our clients and ourselves. So yeah, I would say that, man.
So it's like, instead of spray and pray, you're really looking for buying signals.
No, so it's actually, I would say it's actually different. So one thing that we don't do is using triggers or buying signals. I would say that it's more in a sense that, for example, if you have a CRM solution, then what we will do is not necessarily look at people that are hiring for a CRM specialist or whatever people do nowadays. What we would do is, let's say that they target SaaS companies, right? Then we would go into the website of the SaaS company using Claygen, for example. We would see if they are pushing a free demo on the site, because if we know that someone has a free demo, so they're doing product-led sales, that means that they probably have a lot of people coming in the pipeline from inbound, right? So we just try to catch these little data points that gives us a better estimate that someone might need a better CRM solution, right? To get all the traffic in. So I would say it's just, you have a solution, you're selling a pain, and then you're finding data points that would like help us sense that there is the underlying pain that we're solving, if that makes sense. Yeah. Not necessarily
makes a lot of sense.
buying.
Which brings me also to my next question. So I would say like clients are more educated than ever about marketing tactics right now. Like if you think about it, like a few years back, just told them I do cold email, like, yeah, all right, what's this? I want to fucking see it. Well, I want to give this a try. Like it was really easy. But today they're really more educated. So how has this changed the way you position your services and what you need to deliver? Like basically how has this changed for you in your presenting your services to the point that they're more educated? What do you do different now than maybe when you started out?
Yeah. So I would say that it comes down to trust, right? There's a trust like barrier between. I would say people are more educated. There's more agencies doing similar stuff, so you have to establish trust beforehand, right? So. What I still and people might love, but like the Loom strategy, so saying like, hey, can I send you a quick video running over the strategy that we implemented for X, Y, and Z, right? Stuff like that. And then someone like it's very easy to say yes to. And then what I'm trying to do within the video is establish trust. So showing the results that we got for this specific client, then going over the process that we did, like so that we can get a buy-in from them. So if they think that the process is solid and better than they've used or seen before, then of course they are more likely to be interested in learning more about it. So I would say that it's either like creating lead magnets, free value up front, like videos to get the trust beforehand before the call, and then if that's established, then then we can get them on a call. I would say that's probably like the biggest thing, the biggest change. Before you could just literally ask for a call for 15 minutes, but I don't see that happening anymore.
Interesting. Obviously, the next question is always coming up, like everybody's talking about AI replacing marketers. As an agency owner, what's your take? Do you see more as a threat or as an opportunity?
I mean, bro, we talked about this a bunch of times. I mean, like for me, I don't like AI. I'm using it. Don't get me wrong, but I don't like it, man. It's just one of these things that if you're not using it, it's just that people that are using it are way more efficient, can spend their time more effectively, get better results in less time. So of course they are going to push you out of the market if you don't adopt. So, but yeah, man, I would say, and I saw a guy on LinkedIn say something about this, and it's very interesting. I also had this conversation with a few friends last weekend. Is all the new generation is so in their phone, right? Like. You and I, like, and like, I would want to have a conversation with a real human before I'm actually buying something. But this new generation is just constantly in the phone, right? So I think that the way that they are going to sell stuff is just they have less need for another human to have a conversation with. In fact, I think that it even is kind of like a barrier for them. So to get back to your question, I would say that AI in sales is going to be like huge, man, because I think that you have like these AI avatars like selling to people that someone doesn't have to have a conversation with a real human being. I would say that's probably like the biggest thing that I would say AI is going to replace. But yeah, man, just the very low hanging task, like so doing prospecting or whatever, it's already taken over. So I don't see a reason why it would not, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. How much do you personally use it in your email? Because I mean, yeah, just let me know what your take on is, then I will tell you what I think about it. But yeah, how much do you use it personally?
Well, it depends, man. I would say, so I don't let AI create the entire email, right? That's not something that I do. There's just little snippets that make the message more relevant, I would say. But not too much, nothing crazy. There's one Dutch client in particular where we're actually using Claude for the entire email creation. But what we do is have like a template. We give it a template that it has to follow, and then based on the company description and some other variables, it can fill out the blanks. And that, to be fair, like that campaign is absolutely crushing it. So there is a place and a time, I would say. But for me, what I typically do is, in the first line, have something with AI or sprinkle in some. So instead of saying to an e-com brand, like, hey, I saw your products, you can say like, hey, I saw your sofas, for example. Like just these little things to make it more personalized, I would say. But yeah, nothing more than that, to be honest.
Okay, and where do you look for information, especially when you use AI? Do you use LinkedIn? Do you use Instagram? Or where do you basically let the AI search for the information that you use?
Website content, honestly. Yeah, so it's mostly it's just way it's just super easy accessible, right? A website, and I found that. So Clayagent, right? I don't know. Like everyone listening to this probably knows what Clayagent is capable of doing.
Yeah,
So
I think
one
so.
thing that, yeah,
My audience
I,
also they
I
understand
hope
it.
so. Yeah, I hope so. And
Yeah.
if you haven't jumped on the Clay train, I would highly advise you do so.
You should maybe then, if you run an agency, give it a go.
Yeah, for sure, man. Honestly, but I would say that yeah, website content is honestly giving very good results. Yeah, yeah, not too much LinkedIn. I would say just website content or general in like having it search for information on the internet on its own. So no boundaries.
I mean, what worked very well for me in ecom, a few campaign that I did, but I did Instagram, and basically I just said, hey, I saw this beautiful red dress, blah, blah, blah. You want to put more eyes on this red dress. That was working quite well. I was also working with a marketing agency, so that was something, because it was different also, but that was also like, I even said, what did I say? I said like, hey, my husband just sent me this post with this red dress, right? Like just like doing things out of the box. But this is always the thing, like it was working for some time, and then again, if everybody does it, it doesn't work anymore. It's just like, I think it's always like, for me personally spoken, like it's just really about doing some kind of different stuff, like something that is just a scroll stopper. You're like, oh wow, what is this? Like you need to do a pattern interrupt. I think that's the most important thing that I see right now, what I do. And if you have a good offer, I mean, I'm running 3, 4 clients completely without Clay. I already told you this, right? Because the offer is just too good. Like it makes no sense. I mean, I work with massive marketplaces. And if you say, for example, something like, hey, you want to sell on Temo? I mean, what you need to say more? Like yes or no, that's it, right? And in general, I'm like, I'm a little bit going away more and more from AI because I like the feeling that I have that anyway sounds all the same. Like I've seen this on your website, I have this on your link. Everybody knows that it's AI. Nobody fucking believes that you really went there and looked it up. You know what I mean? Like, and it had to be really, really special, relevant that people are thinking, okay, you did this extra effort, but normally, So like, I don't know. Like I see it going in two directions. Number one, like really highly sophisticated AI where you really like where you almost don't understand anymore that it's done by AI. And the other one is just no AI and just really writing an email that is just really beautiful flowing. And for this segment your market more, like really target your ICP better so that you have like even maybe 4 or 5 different campaigns instead of only one, but you just really target it to the one ICP, and you don't maybe need it. You don't even need so much AI anymore because it's anyway, you know exactly who the ICP is. So this is the way that I see it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's one guy in particular. I'm not going to mention his name, but that I'm talking to a bunch as well on how he creates offers, and it's just literally like one line emails. It's just if you know that someone wants something, wants to have something, and the market would normally charge for it. If you can somehow offer that for free, it's just very hard to say no to, I would say, man.
Yeah, exactly. And no-brainer offers work always. That's the thing. If
Yeah,
you have a no-brainer offer, you don't need to be a good copywriter. It's like,
yeah, yeah, it's true.
it's very simple.
Yeah, yeah. So to come back to that point, what I
Yeah.
made earlier is that if you know from, for example, from like listening to sales calls from your clients, you can sometimes see if they are explaining something where the prospect is like you can see just like whoa, that's interesting, and if you can catch that moment what they are saying and articulate that in an email, create an offer around it, it's oftentimes something that people want, right? So I would say that like sales transcripts from clients is like a huge goldmine for this to create better offers.
I like it. That's great, man. I think it's great advice for the audience as well. All right, so the next one is like, I call it the scaling trap. So most agencies hit the wall between 20 and 30K. Well, but because the founder becomes the bottleneck most of the time, right? Where are you in that journey, and what's your biggest scaling challenge?
Oh, well, I'm probably not the right person to ask about scaling currently because you know my goal. It's not to scale too hard anymore. It's more like staying around this, but like doing half amount the hours involved in the business. That being said, I think the biggest challenge that I have in regards to scaling is like making sure that I have systems in place that other people can do on my behalf with like 80% of the quality that I'm doing them at. That's probably like for me the biggest challenge right now.
Also finding the right who's, basically the right stuff that basically does it on the quality level that you would like them to do it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like at the end of the day, you are end responsible to the client, right? And I don't know about the people listening, but when I'm doing something, I always try to do it. And you know this, right? I'm a bit of a perfectionist.
Yeah, a bit.
So that's an understatement, I would say. So yeah. I'm always going like for the 100%, and that's not always good. That's like one of my the things that I'm working on, right? I want to ship at 80%, and just like I don't care about the 20% then at that point, right? So that's something that I'm working towards. But what I'm trying to say is that there is just a big difference when you have skin in the game, and when you are the one who is going into the client calls every single week, and when you have an employee working for you who is doing the stuff that you would normally do. They don't have that that responsibility feeling. Of course, it's our job as an agency owner to give them that sense of responsibility. I get that, but I would say that for me currently, that's the biggest challenge. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, thanks for sharing this. Where do you see the industry going? If you would have like a crystal ball, if you had to predict where the agency world is heading in the next 2 or 3 years, what trends do you see that most people are maybe even missing? So
I would say less dependency on Google, Microsoft, honestly, because like if we take a look at right now what's happening in the space currently, is that it was a long time where Microsoft was performing better than it was Google. Now Microsoft has a crackdown for the last year. No one is able to inbox on Microsoft. Maybe even that is going to shift more into LinkedIn. I know LinkedIn is getting tighter with LinkedIn automations, but actually manually DMing people on behalf of your clients, maybe that's something that is going to we see happen more and more. It's a good question, man. I honestly hope it doesn't go anywhere, because it's a space that we're both in, right? So I think maybe even I would say probably LinkedIn is getting more traction than email, unless or you're using your own private infrastructures. I know one friend of mine is doing this, and he's able to inbox for Outlook. I know he's the only person on the planet right now.
I also do inbox for Outlook.
Yeah, exactly. Some people do, and also the Dutch market. The Dutch market is way different in inboxing Outlook. If I'm sending emails to a Dutch recipient on Outlook inboxes, then I'm always inboxing. But when it's like Ecom USA, bro, forget it, man. There's no way I'm inboxing there. So it depends, honestly. Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Okay, let's go more into a little bit more other topics. So the founder fatigue. So agency life, obviously, can be intense. Constant client demands, team management, staying on top of changes. How do you personally prevent burnout without losing your competitive edge?
Well, I would say that for me, one big factor is also just having an awesome girlfriend, man. That's for me. That's probably like a big support in this. But in general, man, I mean, today it's a beautiful day, right? Sun is shining. That just gives me better mood. If it's a day like that, even though I'm very busy, I just try to walk for half an hour, something like that, right? I know that when you're in a zone, when you're very busy, it's very easy to stay caught up in that specific bubble, right? You want to get things done, and you feel bad to yourself kind of if you're taking a break. But what I found is that if you just have if you just set a timer for 90 minutes, and then after every 90 minutes you can do nothing else and take a 10-minute rest without your phone or whatever, so no impulses. I would say that's also it helps big time. yeah, other than that, just like working out, sleeping well.
Okay, 100%. Did you try rice before?
Yeah, man. I actually had it, but yeah, I had it, but I wasn't using it like properly, I would say. And also, like, I got these notifications like every 45 minutes, and it was kind of distracting me. Like, it was the
It's like, I
feeling.
need to continue working. Damn my boss,
Yeah,
now
it
fuck
was,
that.
it was like defeating the whole purpose of getting rice in the first place. So I was like, nah. Yeah, I for me it was more like a shiny object thing than it like actually helped me. But that's personal.
To say, to be honest, because I don't use it anymore as well, but I used it sometimes. It did my break, so I was like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna take a break now. Like, and it was not a bad thing, you know. Like, I mean, it's just like maybe gonna bring it back because I just remember it now. I'm gonna put your code in now. Sure, I'm joking.
What do you do then?
No, obviously everybody has the code from Rise, but no, makes no sense. But if you want to check it out, it's quite a cool tool, basically, where you can control how you're working. Maybe I put a code in because why not? But like, then you can check it out if you watch that. It's a really cool tool where you basically can control how you're working. That you're really more focused on one task only. So because it also understands, for example, that's one that I really liked about it, because you basically do one thing, and then when you go somewhere else, you go to another tab, it will remind you like, oh, you know, this was really cool as well for me as ADHD as I am. I'm like, all right, I keep jumping around. So like, it really helped me to focus on one thing. And so that's what I really like. Maybe I'll bring it back because it's quite cool, honestly. Anyway, if you don't know it, Rise is a really cool tool, like I said, for really checking and having a better workflow, and it reminds you, I think, every 45 minutes or something to take a 5 minute break, and it also helps you to stay focused on one task. So it's quite cool, actually. Maybe I'm gonna bring it back. I quite like it, actually. I think we're back at it.
That was a
I
good
remember
feature.
we had that in HC Velocity then, in the mastermind where we both were. We had these battles then because you could always see how long you were working, like fucking 15 hours there, yeah. Right,
Completely unhealthy. Everyone was
Exactly.
flexing it like it was a good thing to have like 16-hour work days.
Exactly. But I mean, it's what it is. All right.
That was funny.
One more question to your agency. So let's go back when you first started your agency. What did your internal voice tell you when you set your first prices? And how has that voice evolved, or has it?
Wow. Yeah, that's what is it like? Almost coming up on like 2.5 years, I would say right now. Yeah, bro. So the first deal that I ever signed was like it was like a 3K setup fee that he didn't want to pay up front, so it was spread over the 10 calls that we would say that we were going to get them a guarantee on, right? So it was like a super shitty deal back then, and I mean, like I was even like afraid of asking, like it was like $300 per call. Something like that, when his client lifetime value was like 70,000 plus, right? So it made absolutely like no sense that it was not in proportion, and like he even ended up not paying at all. So it was like, also, I would say that in the beginning it was pretty hard for me to ask for or clearly see the value that I was bringing to the table.
Yeah.
And I know that Hormozy said something about it, but it is really true, right? Like, you have to outwork the self-doubt in a sense. Like, you have to get so many tangible results that you just, like, you can't get your head around, like, what I'm doing actually works. And it took me a long time, to be fair. And even right now, it's when I'm working, for example, there's one client in particular right now that's like a way different client than other clients that I've worked with. And like, I'm not gonna lie, like I had doubts, like should I take them on and what should I charge them and whatnot. But I think that's also part of the process. But if I'm just looking at the deals, like we're doing like upfront for like 3 months, pretty big. Not for them a lot of money, but for me still big money. And I would have never been able to charge that 2 years ago. But that's probably also, like I said, because I got a lot of client testimonials, case studies right now. That just helps for yourself to getting the trust, right?
And Limitless Rewired also helped you a little bit, right?
Bro, definitely, yeah. You can slip that in, bro. You can slip that in. I mean, when we when we started working together, that's actually also like a valid point, I would say, is that I kind of took a break from the agency just to focus on mindset. This was like, when was it, like a half year ago almost?
Yeah,
Four
almost, yeah.
months?
4 months, I think.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's say
When was it? Not even.
yeah,
When was it? Like July, August, something like this. End of July, I think. Start of August. Yeah. What is now? Fucking, it's
okay,
November. Time is flying, bro. What is it? August, September,
yeah, time
October,
for
November. Yeah. 4 months, something like that. Yeah.
yeah. So I think when we got to module 4, this is like I keep saying this is the best module in Limitless Rewired, but when we were highlighting the different types of limiting beliefs, and by shining light on it, it just like it doesn't have much power over you anymore. In that period, I closed a like 20K worth of deals. Like it's like 18K euros in 1 week, which was like completely yeah, it was like absolutely insane, and it could have only came from one thing, because I've never. At that point, I'd never like closed like so much in 1 week, I would say. It was just like brick on brick, right? And then Limitless Rewired was like the yeah, how do you say, like the biggest push, I would say, to get to that point. Yeah, definitely helped.
Cool, man. Because I remember when we started, you were what you were doing, like 2-3K a month, something like this. Prox.
Yeah, so before that I was doing way more. Then I stopped the agency, right? So I took a break.
Yeah,
Then I was
exactly.
doing like yeah, then I was doing like 3K, and now we got all the way up again. So that's good.
Okay. There's usually a moment, right, when entrepreneurs hit an invisible ceiling. Could be revenue, could be confidence, could be impact. Have you hit yours, and what did it feel like internally?
So I think that okay, so I would say that it's probably like now, but I have still room for like one or two clients. I would say that for me, you have to know. Okay, so if you're creating campaigns for a client, right, you're going into the research process, the copywriting process, and whatnot. Me, from my nature, I'm pretty like we already went over this, but I'm very perfectionistic, right? So doing things takes longer for me than for someone else. If I was able to ship faster, right, I would have like that ceiling would be higher, because then I would like need less time per client. But I would say that currently it's probably like one or two clients from now, and that's what I also said with the scaling challenge. Right now, what the thing that I'm doing is delegating tasks. Right, we talked about this. You actually recommended someone for this, for clay work specifically.
Yeah.
And it's also for me to open up that bandwidth, right, to get to a point where I can onboard more clients, more agencies.
Okay. This is great, because the next question is about perfectionism. Perfectionism. How much time do you spend perfecting things that could be good enough to launch? What are you actually afraid will happen if it's not perfect?
Oh man. Yeah, we can dwell over this for like half an hour at least.
Yeah, let's go. I think.
So for me, it's weird, but I feel like every little thing matters somehow. Also in music, I've had this my entire life. I kind of know where it comes from, also through Limitless Rewired, but I also think it's just something in my personality, I would say. But it's not that I'm necessarily scared of something not happening. It's just that I feel very uncomfortable within if I know that something is good but can actually be way better, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Is it like, if you come back to this point, like because obviously we can go a little bit deeper into the mind also, and why we're doing things, like can you remember the first time someone made you question whether you were good enough at something? And if so, how old were you, and how did that shape your relationship with confidence?
Yeah. So this has been for me like the biggest reason why I feel the way that I feel, right? And why why I hit the struggles with my agency that I or I have the challenges with the agency and progressing that I still kind of have, right? So bro, you and I were pretty much the same in this, right? We talked about this a bunch of times, but like when I was younger, I was like a very, very energetic kid, right? Everywhere where I go, I was like running, and everything had to be faster and whatever, right? So my parents, everywhere that I would come, I would like climb in a tree of a friend of my mother, and then I would break the tree that has just got implanted there in the garden, and I was just completely terror, man. And everyone was telling my mom like, "Yo, can't you give him like a pill, a chill pill or whatever, just to get him normal?" So I always like subconsciously, I think I just always like heard that like, your kid is too energetic, he's not normal, like calm him down, like give him a chill pill. So that's like the biggest, the first like actual like thing where I know that I kind of experienced that, like not being good enough, I would say. But then also just a bunch of different times throughout my life. But I would say that it started there.
Okay. I mean, you said this thing about like, and it's true, we have a lot of parallels here because like you guys maybe also know, if you watch Mama videos, I was exactly the same, right? Fucking terror. Like we call it a Lausbur in Bavarian, right? Like somebody that just does some things to get attention. And I don't know. So that's what I did. I did a lot of pranks on people and stuff like this. I just love pranking people. And when I came to school, like same thing happened to me, like to him. Like people I was just not born to just sit and just fucking look 6 hours at somebody and listen what they have to tell me. I was just like not made for that. And I think so many of us are not. And that's why we're not fitting into a school system where they just tell you like sit there for 6 hours and listen and learn what I have to tell you. And I was just not fitting into this, similar like you. And I think this is the time when you are just like for me, like I said, for me it was deeper, right? People told me I'm a failure, I'm a loser. I mean, I don't think it was that bad for you. And for me, it was really like that. I just see like you just don't fit into the system, and this when you don't fit into the system, then they like you said, then it's like then you need a chill pill, and thanks God your parents did not do it, because how many parents just really give their kids fucking Ritalin? I mean, if you think about it, it's crazy, right? Well, but like, yeah, man. I mean,
that did happen in high school actually. Ritalin, Concerta. Yeah, man. So what happened was in high school. That's actually like the second like biggest period. It was always like I have HDD, so it's not ADHD. It's like but like a very big concentration problem. So the fact that we are doing this podcast and I can somewhat concentrate is a miracle. And so
I mean, amazing. You're doing great.
So in high school, man, I was always like, I could hear a pencil drop, and I was always like, I had to look, right? So it was super annoying, because when you don't have attention, you're going to start doing different things. And the teachers were always complaining like, hey, this guy is not listening, he's not collaborating with the class and whatever. And then at some point they literally just they called the school doctor. And they said like, yeah, you have to give your kid like Ritalin or Concerta so that he can concentrate better. Yeah. So and then for 1.5 years I had to do that, but it was like I felt like a zombie, man. So if someone would make a joke, and 2 minutes later that joke would hit my psyche, and I would laugh internally. I couldn't even express my feelings. I was just completely like trapped inside of my body.
They gave you Ritalin. I never knew that. What the fuck?
Yeah, man. Yeah, but like I don't blame my parents. They were just doing what like the school doctor said that was best for me.
Yeah, but alone this we're ridiculous, bro. What the fuck? Yeah. How can a school doctor? I mean, this is crazy. Like this stuff to me, it's just like insane. Like there's a kid that is just different, doesn't fucking fit in their system, and then they give you fucking pills. I mean, this is insane.
Yeah, man.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
And this was with you like this, and you said like you were really like a zombie more, like you did not basically all the stuff that you normally were doing were just shut down.
Yeah, so what happened is that the school didn't complain anymore, right? So my parents got on the parent evenings, we call it in the Netherlands. So they come it's once every quarter or every half year they come to the school, and then it's like an evaluation of how your kid is performing at school. And there was no complaints whatsoever, right? Because I was on reading, I was tricked the hell out of my brain, bro. So I was sitting in a class like completely numbed. And there was no complaints anymore. So my parents were like, whoa, it's actually going good right now. Until like at one point, I just started losing like connections with friends too, because like I was not myself anymore, right? Not my I just wasn't myself. So I just put my parents on a sleeve essentially one day, saying like, yo guys, I don't care what you guys think about it, but I'm going to stop, because this is not like I don't feel I don't feel right anymore. And after that, luckily, there's never been a situation where, like they said, like stop. There was never a situation where they tried to put me on those. But yeah, there was a point where I myself had to say like, yo, it's enough.
Like, how was it afterwards? Did you have like some kind of withdrawal from it, or like how was that? Because if you took it 1.5 years, that's a long time.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to say. I would say that I've done research on this later in my life. I would say that, and it's hard because there's also different things happening within that period. But I would say that being on Ritalin like 1.5 years when I'm actually in my puberty, when you're actually developing, I would say that it definitely made a difference in how I am today. I would say, I think if I didn't have it, I would probably be more energetic still.
Yeah, thanks for sharing this, Hugo. But that's crazy to me. Wow. I also never met really somebody that really was on it. I obviously heard that it's a lot happening, but never met anybody that they really gave it to like 1.5 years. Especially the Netherlands, where you think they're so progressed with everything. Is it still like this in the Netherlands?
Well, I hope not, man. But I mean, if you just look at the education systems and the stuff that's going on there, also in the Netherlands, and what people think is normal nowadays, I wouldn't like. I wouldn't say there's like. I would say that I wouldn't like think it's weird if parents now say like, yo, I'm actually not even like want to have my kids on these schools. I still think that's going on. Actually, I think 100%. more than ever, probably. Everything just now seems more normal, and I don't know. Yeah, I have a very strong opinion about that.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. I mean, we can talk about this for hours as well, because like I said, I don't have kids, guys, but like if I have kids, I would not know if I would. I'm pretty sure would not put them into a public school system. I would not do that. What's your point on this one? Would you, when you have kids, what are you thinking? You would put them into a public school system, or not at all?
So I would probably have a. So if I absolutely have to put them on a public school, it would probably be a school where it's just like Christian kids. Where it's just where it's more like old school, where people are just where you have like the normal rules of how do you say, like the Bible and Christianity, instead of just these normal, like these Western rules and whatever. Yeah. I think I would do that. But probably like the best thing is homeschooling, man. But you have to have you have to have the money for it, the time, whatever, right? So.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. Like, I mean, like you also, when you're starting out right now, maybe you will have kids, and like, well, if your kids, if our kids, God knows, maybe I'm gonna start next year as well. You never know. My wife said something.
Oh shit! Is this an announcement?
My wife said I want 4 kids or nothing. I'm like, what? Are you crazy?
Oh man.
But like, yeah, what I wanted to say is like. Anyway, we still have time. Like it's 5, 6, 7 years until if they are that old that maybe they go to school, and you never know. Because what I see is now, I see a lot of things changing as well. There is more and more schools now coming up that are really different. So maybe you never know, especially in Marbella where I live, that is very progressive with all that stuff, because there's a lot of rich kids and there's rich families. So maybe they create something like this. And you know, you never know, maybe there will be a school like this and that would be fucking great. And then I can put them there. So this is obviously what I still hope, because from one point, I believe homeschooling only takes them also away a little bit completely from getting friends and stuff like this, because it's also a place where you go and you get friends at school, right? So like completely homeschooling, I don't know, but I would like to have just a school where there's a different system. That's my perfect vision of it. So you never know. I know that there's more and more now coming into this direction, and maybe in 5, 6 years there will be something like that. I hope, right? There will be something like that. But because there's some institutions already. I saw something in Germany where there is a guy that he has a name. I don't remember his name. But he basically started a school where the kids just have like sacks and stuff where they lie around, and they only have to study like when they want to, more or less. And it's just like, and they went to the Abitur, and they got the best Abitur in all Germany. Basically, they were like unbelievably good, because they could basically just decide when they wanted to study or not to study. It's just like that. Like it was just half hour was basically like of a thing, like half hour was lecture, and then there was some break, and they could just run around and do what the hell they wanted. And there was another half hour. It was never 1 hour. It was only just half hours, and there was always big breaks in between. So it's completely different, like it is now, right? So like much more just like really understandable about how the kids really are, right? Just they want to run around, they want to play. That's what they want to do. So yeah, and I hope something like this is going to come. Yeah, that's my thing. But okay, right. Let's go a little bit more also into mindset. I mean, you also obviously went for Limitless Rewired. Like we can talk about the depth of the mind and all of that. Like, how do you see like what the importance of really working on your mindset, especially as an entrepreneur?
Yeah. So be do have, man. Be to have is the biggest thing. Like if you want to have something, you have to do specific actions, and the only way that you can do specific actions is if you become the person that is doing those actions, right? Otherwise, you always face resistance. So you have to start with the source in that sense. Like you have to become someone else, and in order to become someone else, you first have to know who you are, right? And I think that especially again like the module 4, where you just actually like thinking about what are the beliefs how do I see reality, but because that's essentially what a belief is, right? It's a statement of how you perceive reality. So just being able to highlight specific things, like what do I believe to be true, seeing those things, and you're essentially just looking at a problem. Because at that point you wrote down, and I know that this is probably like one of the earliest exercises, correct me if I'm wrong, bro, but where you are writing on a piece of paper the very thoughts that you're when they come up, right? Your limiting beliefs. Let's say that you are doing something. Let's say you want to create a pricing structure for a client, and then you're saying like, hey, what if this is too expensive? Like that is a limiting belief, right? So you write it down, and now you're aware of it. So for me, what helped me the most is just writing everything down, seeing, okay, I'm essentially just looking at the problem. Well, if I believe all these things to be true, then no shit, I'm like not doing well, honestly. So the biggest thing for me is with mindset is just becoming aware of the stuff that is going on subconsciously in your head, and just by looking at that, steering yourself in a better direction. So replacing current thoughts, like, so if you think like it's too expensive, you're saying like, hey, I'm providing a shit ton of value, right? It's the opposite. So yeah, man, very important. I would say, yeah, still very important.
So what would you say basically has changed through the process? Like let's talk about like knowing yourself better. So do you think like how has been the knowledge about yourself before you started this process? Like did you know yourself really? Like what did change from the moment basically when you started to do really this deep mindset work to now? Like what are the biggest changes that you realize on yourself in your day, for example?
Well, it doesn't hold too much power over me anymore. I would say that's the biggest thing. So when I just started off this mindset process, it was still like I was content with the fact that, or like I kind of accepted the fact that I was just not able to progress, right, or to move fast, to take action quickly, and to get shit done. I always had this, like I told you this, it's like this invisible force. So I said to myself like, yo, I'm going to write copy for 5 hours, and I would block it in my calendar, and I would find everything to do differently than the actual copywriting. And it was just something, and even if I was doing it, I was feeling constant friction, I would say, right? And then by working through these, like doing the mindset exercises, working through these, like what is in my head, replacing it with positive thoughts, I now have, let's say I feel this resistance coming up again, I can now point to like, okay, I see what my brain is trying to do, because it's from this and this instances in my life that I hold this belief, and now it doesn't hold any power over me anymore. I would say that's to date still the biggest thing that's helping me like actually progress and not be withheld by my limiting beliefs.
I love it, man. This is great. Because like I said, we can never completely stop them, but what we can do is we can learn how to deal with them better, right? And this is the most interesting thing. And like, I don't know if you have watched, guys, if you're watching this now, if you have watched the imposter syndrome killer video that I brought up, where basically I always compare the voices, right, with basically Mr. Vader from Star Wars, because like it's like Mr. Vader with this guy, like it's like basically talking to you, and you imagine the voice is to be Mr. Vader. A funny thing is, like, for me, this works super well because like I really have times where I hear the voice and I love about it. I'm like, wow, the fuck? You know, and it's like I never had this before, but like through this technique that I'm using, if you, like I said, if you want to know more about this, watch my Imposter Syndrome Killer video. I just had it, have it in my mind now, but it really works. Like if you imagine, like, because the biggest problem I think that we are having, and I do believe that, bro, like I'm not even joking, 90% of human beings, because they're not doing that work, maybe even more. I don't know a lot of people that are doing this work, like 1 out of 100 maybe, right? Maybe from you guys are watching, maybe 10 out of 100 if we are very lucky, maybe less, I don't know. But like majority of human beings, they just identify themselves with that. They say like, I am this, I am bad at sales, I don't trust people. You know what I mean? They just basically, the story that happened in their life becomes them. And that's the biggest problem here. Because if you just basically like Andrew Tate, you can think about it what you want, but he saw it also yesterday, like I said, I saw a film about it, where he said like, my mind is always on my side. And I love that, because like there's only 2 choices. Or you control your mind, or your mind controls you. And hey, trust me, the first thing is better. Because the second thing is a fucking disaster, where I have been, you have been, where we all the time again also can be. But the thing is like, the more strategies you have to understand and get out of it and become conscious about it and understand, hey, whoa, this is not me, the better your life you will live it. Because like when you are becoming unconscious and the thought becomes you, more or less, right? And it basically takes you in and it just tells you, you're not good enough, you're this, you're that. And you start to believe it, well, what will happen? You're going to be that. That's exactly what's going to happen, right? But when you get the understanding that you basically can understand and how is it called? Basically separate yourself, right, from the voice, okay, and understand, hey, this voice has been implanted, God knows, 15 years ago, because I was basically putting my hand up in class and everybody was laughing about me, right? And I understand that, and I basically, the more I do that, the more I can basically really separate myself from the voice, and the more I can understand that this is not me. This is something that happened some time ago. It has been implanted, and I think this is the work. When you do that, your life just gets so much better, because you're not getting any more controlled by the voice. The voice will lose more and more power over you, right? And that's the thing. And like I said, maybe you come, when you really train it, you can come to a moment like me where you just love about it. You're like, bro, the fuck? Hey, let's be real. Like, I'm over that shit. I don't need that anymore. Just go, you know? Just leave me. Like, what the fuck? Right? So like, this is also really something that happens when you do that work properly over some time. And I think you can also tell me your 4 points on this, Hugo, because I think it's also something that you have to repeat again and again and again, because it's so easy to just go back into your old self again, right?
Yeah, 100% agree. I think for me, no, I would say for me, like, just keep high, because this is the thing, right? The things, the limiting beliefs that I hold right now, the beliefs that I hold right now that are negative, limiting still, right, are different than 3 months ago. So it's kind of like if you're an archer, right, and you shoot an arrow, it hits the wall, and you think that that's it. But once you get to the wall, there's a different wall somewhere down the line, right? And it's kind of with limiting beliefs as well. Like you have like different levels. So you got rid of like the first ones, and then you get new opportunities. It opens up new doors, and now there's new limiting beliefs. For example, if you first were like scared to send emails out because you thought that it was not good enough what you were writing, and now that limiting belief is gone, you are sending emails, and now you're getting clients, actually like conversations with clients, and now you're scared to ask higher prices. So it just shifts depending on what stage you're at with your agency and mindset work, I would say. But the Andrew Tate aspect was pretty interesting because it kind of made me like think about it differently as well. And when you shared the video, it's like he said something interesting. He said once you your mind is the only thing that you can control, and then knowing that your mind is like for 95% your subconscious mind, or 5% like your conscious mind, it actually blows your mind that there's like one thing you actually can control, and then you're not putting the effort in to make that 5% more, so that you're more conscious. And that was also the realization for me when you sent a video that I was like, yeah man, I actually need to step it up even more, because there's nothing more important than controlling your mind.
Absolutely, bro. Control your mind, control your life, man. This is just like, and the funny thing is, like, if it doesn't matter, like, this is always, because the people always, I like, sometimes I'm just getting crazy about it, because I'm like, okay, you know what, you can join this masterclass, you know, like, you learn about your mind, like, no, now at the moment, you know, that's at the moment not for me. I'm like, bro, this is always for you. You need this always. It's a fucking foundation from everything that you do. Why are you telling me it's not at the moment for me? Fucking wake up. I just sometimes want to shake the people, like, bro, this is what you need. Like, there's nothing more important. Like, if you control your mind, you control your life. Like, that's what it's all about. So the more you learn about it, like, for me, sometimes I just get crazy about it. I'm like, bro, like, why? But then I also understand, because people are so brainwashed, right? They're just like, they're all brainwashed. They're just like, they're thinking like, okay, I need the new strategy, the newest skill. I need to get this AI tool. I need to get this and that. But they don't understand, as long as they have the virus in their brain, that is their limiting beliefs, right? To block them, they can learn everything. It's not going to bring them egg and get them anywhere. So that's why this is always the foundation. And I think that's why I always say this work is the most important work that somebody can do in their lives. Like, there's nothing more important. It doesn't matter if you do it with Limitless Rewired, with whatever you want to do it, but the work on yourself. You're not doing it only for you, you're also doing it for future generation. So if you want to have kids, for example, one day, and that's very interesting, because I had a conversation about this with another guy the other day, where we were talking about, like, but my father were treating me like this, and that's why I treat my kid like this as well, because you never fucking worked for it, right? Because we were like basically understanding it, because we were like thinking, like we were talking, and I was like, okay, I said, this is what I'm doing with my kids. I'm like, okay, what did your father do to you? And like, oh, fuck me, I did exactly the same. And then you realize it's like, oh my God, right? And you understood it, and it was just like, bomb. And I was like, this is the point. So you're not doing it even for yourself, you're also doing it for your children. You're doing it, you basically, that's why we speak from generational traumas, right? So something happened to you as a child, boom, your father did this to you, so you do it automatically to your children. If you are not doing the work, if you're not becoming conscious about what's going on here. And that's the thing, that's why this is so important. And that's why it's so important to understand, what are my beliefs? What are my beliefs about education? What are my beliefs about the world? What are my beliefs about health? I don't know, like all the beliefs that you have to question them, because if you never question them, and you just take society's beliefs, good luck, my friend, right? This is not going to bring you far. So like, you have to start questioning things. And I think it brings me back to another thing, because when we are kids, we question everything. Why, Papa? Why this? Why that? Right? Like, we want to know everything. And then they put us in school. It's like, you don't have to ask questions anymore. You just basically have to learn what we tell you. That's what you need to know. Everything else doesn't matter. Your creativity, nobody cares. All right? So that's the thing. But I think the more we start again to question everything, right? The better we can live life really on our terms. Because you don't want to live life for others. You want to live for yourself, right? So if you don't know who the fuck you are, how you can live a life for yourself? You cannot. And then you're unhappy, and I was like, I don't know, like, I'm not really happy. I'm like, of course not, because you don't even know what you want. All right? So that's how you can know what you want if you don't know who you are. Like, it's a chain, right? So that's why I said this is so important to do that work, guys. So if you listen to this, like I said, if you want, join my school group. I put the link down below. If you want to learn more about that stuff, this is a free school group until the first 250. I think I have now, I don't know, 75 people in. I started just last week, so it fills up fast. If you want to join now. If you want to learn more about that stuff, and you see like, okay, this is interesting, maybe I understand what Johannes is saying, it maybe is really the foundation of my life, of being an entrepreneur, you're more than welcome to join. But yeah, I went just on a little ramble right now, but like, you know what I mean, right? Because I want to create a movement, guys. That's why I'm also doing this YouTube thing. I want to wake you up. Like, that's really what I want to do. Because I think we are so brainwashed by society, right? And we don't understand like that the most important thing is mindset work. Because people are like, yeah, woo, I don't know, I don't need this. Like, what, you don't need this? Like, it's everything. control your mind, control your life. That's it, right? This is everything that I have to say to this one. What do you have any thoughts on this, Hugo?
No. I think you said it all, man. No, mindset work is definitely it's the only controllable that you have. So
yeah, all right,
control it.
Cool, man. Final question, and this is one for every entrepreneur listening who is stuck in their own head right now. If you could send a message back to the version of yourself that was running on corrupted mental programming, battling imposter syndrome, and playing small, what would you tell them? And don't give me some motivational poster bullshit. Give me the real raw truth that would actually break through their mental barriers. So imagine you back before you started all that shit, right? Before you started all that work that you did now. And what would you tell to your old self at this time?
Well, I've like a little how do you say, like a thing here where it says fuck it.
I love it.
Like yeah, bro. I just need to hear that. Like, and every time I look at it, and even like this thing is broken here too. So I was going to replace it, and I was like, bro, I'm going to replace it because it's broken. Fuck it, yeah, fuck it. So like, it becomes like the mantra of my life at this point. So I would say fuck it, man. Just don't hold too much. Don't put too much meaning on things that don't actually matter, right? Just do it and find out. Just don't overthink. That's what I would say.
Such a great closing. All right, guys. So yeah, that was the end of this podcast of today. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for being a guest, Mr. Hugo. It was a massive pleasure. Like I said, I always do now. Every Tuesday, we have an agency podcast. On Thursday, you get some raw truth where I'm just rambling. And on Saturday, most of the time, you get some testimonial from one of my clients or something like this. So that's basically how I want to run it. And again, if you're interested into finding out more about my work, what I do, also like I'm really doing some really personal stuff in my school group. I'm also thinking to putting in a coffee hour where basically you can chat to me directly there. So if you want to join the school group, you want to learn more about your mindset, you want to become a freaking mindset beast, and join my school group, I put the link below. Otherwise, I see you in my next video. Take care. Boom.